This video is on distributing and combining like terms. So what you're going to want to do is watch some of them, some of the examples. You don't have to watch all of them. It's a longer video, as are the ones coming up, because I'm trying to show you guys as many examples as possible. Through your reflections, you told me that you like more examples, they help you. So I'm hoping that the amount of examples I'm giving you, even if you don't watch them all at once, will help you grasp the terms. So in these examples, you're going to see parentheses, which are going to indicate to you that there is some sort of product going on. So you're going to have to, in some cases, in most cases, you're going to have to distribute, especially when there is no simplification that could be going on inside the set of parentheses. So for 3 times, in parentheses, x minus 5, you're going to have to go ahead and distribute, because you cannot combine x and minus 5 because they are not like terms. And when you distribute, you multiply. So you do 3 times x, which is 3x, and 3 times negative 5, which is negative 15. You look at your answer and you say 3x and negative 15 are not like terms. So this is the way that you would leave your binomial 3x minus 15 fully simplified. For the second example, now it gets a bit trickier because there's a term that's added to. So in any problem, when you see a set of parentheses, you're obviously going to do the parentheses, what's inside the parentheses first if you can. This case you can't. You go through, there's no exponents that you can do, so now you're going to multiply. Well, distribution is the multiplication step in order of operations, so you're going to multiply. Negative 2 times 3x is negative 6x. Negative 2 times negative 8 is positive 16. And then the 2x comes along because it is not part of the product. Negative 2 is only being multiplied by the difference between 3x and 8. It is not being multiplied by 2x. From here, you're going to notice that you can then combine like terms. You have a negative 6x and a positive 2x. So that's going to give you negative 4x. And then you have a positive 16 sitting there by itself. In this case, you're going to leave it alone for now. In the next lesson, you're going to learn how to factor that. But for right now, you're going to leave it alone. So negative 4x plus 16, negative 4x and 16 are not like terms. They cannot be combined. So that is, for right now, a fully simplified binomial expression. This is the one that starts to get a little even trickier, because now when you distribute, you have to be careful. You have to distribute the negative 3, because this 3 has a negative sign in front of it. So you're going to distribute the negative 3. And you're going to distribute first because order of operation tells us to check parentheses. You cannot combine 5x plus 6 that's in parentheses. Can't do it. There are no exponents, and so now you're going to multiply. Multiply is the next step in order of operations. Negative 3 times 5x is negative 15x. Negative 3 times positive 6 is negative 18. And then everything else comes down. So it's 8 minus 15x minus 18 minus 4x. And you now have a combining like terms problem. So 8 minus 18 would give us negative 10. Negative 15x minus 4x would give us negative 19x. And you could write it as negative 10 minus 19x, or I would write it as negative 19x minus 10, so my x comes first. So for our purposes right now, that is a fully simplified binomial expression. There is nothing else that I can do with that. I am done. Some more. So this one's tricky only because when you look at this, you say, oh, it's 4 minus the difference between 6x minus 9 minus 3x. What you have to recognize is that there's really a 1 in front of that set of parentheses. So when you go to distribute, you are distributing a negative 1. So the 6x becomes negative 6x. Because negative 1 times 6x is negative 6x, and negative 1 times negative 9 is positive 9, and then everything else comes down. From here I box and circle, and it's negative 6x and negative 3x. So negative 6x minus 3x is negative 9x. I have a positive 4 and a positive 9, which gives me a positive 13. Cannot put negative 9x and positive 13 together. I am done. So this problem is adding 2 binomials. In adding 2 binomials, there's nothing to do inside parentheses. There's nothing to multiply, which means that I can go ahead and drop those sets of parentheses and just make it a big old monomial addition problem. So now I add the 4x and the positive 3x, and I get 7x. And I add the 16 and the minus 7, and I get positive 9. So 7x plus 9 is my final answer. Now subtracting becomes a little trickier because now you have two binomials and you're subtracting them. You can't do anything inside the parentheses. But the tricky part is you have to set it up so that you're multiplying the negative 1 by what's in the second set of parentheses. Negative 8x plus 12. And the reason that is because when you read this, it's 6x minus 8x, negative 14 minus negative 12. So when you rewrite it without the set of parentheses, it becomes 6x minus 14 minus 8x plus 12. Combine like terms, 6x minus 8x is negative 2x. Negative 14 plus 12 is minus 2. Your final answer is negative 2x minus 2. If you don't distribute that negative for the subtraction problems, and there's a negative outside of set of parentheses, you have to distribute it to both terms. Just like if there was a negative 2 outside of parentheses, you would have to distribute it to both terms. The negative really represents a negative 1. We just don't put the 1 there in math. So for this problem, I'm going to go through the steps and I'm going to say, are there any parentheses that I can do anything in? Well, they're parentheses, but 3x minus 5, can't really do anything in them. So I'm going to go through exponents. I see exponents, but I don't know the value of x, so I can't take the value of x to the power of 2. So there's something I can do with those exponents. So now I'm going to multiply. And again, I see a minus sign, so I'm going to put a 1 there, and I'm going to distribute. And I get negative 3x plus 5. Bring everything else down. Plus 10 minus 2x minus 3x squared. Combine like terms. Let's do the squareds first. 4x squared minus 3x squared. 4x squared minus 3x squared gives me x squared or 1x squared. Your choice whether you put the 1 there. Negative 3x, negative 2x gives me negative 5x. And then a plus 5 and a plus 10 get me plus 15. So x squared or 1x squared minus 5x plus 15. In this case, you see three terms. 1x squared is one term, negative 5x is another term, and plus 15 is a third term. We are now past a monomial, which is one term, a binomial, which is two terms, and this is called a polynomial, many terms. So once you get past binomial, we're just going to call them polynomials. You could call this guy a trinomial because there's three terms that he has or she has, but we're going to call him poly or many-termed.